right. All right. Hey, King, it's Troy. I'm here with a freebie lesson today. I don't have any fancy lighting rig set up here, so maybe it's a little shadowy and dark, but we're not going to let that stand in the way of you gaining valuable knowledge talking about imposter syndrome. I can do this without all the fancy bells and whistles and not feel like an imposter. That's good. It ties right into our lesson here today. So, the intention is of the training to help those who experience imposter syndrome. It's a terrible thing to endure, isn't it? And it's needless. And I'd love to help you get rid of it. In my confidence program, we ditch this syndrome super fast. So, a little overview of what you can expect in this video. What is imposter syndrome and what it's not? Why it's important to overcome it. And the true solution. The true solution definitely is not fake it till you make it, because even if you do make it, you're just going to feel like an imposter, a bigger imposter even. You won't feel worthy. That's for sure. And I speak from experience on that and the experience of my clients who've endured that before they released that imposter syndrome themselves. So for those who are just getting to know me, my name is Troy and I'm a confidence coach, and I've helped hundreds of people gain clarity and connect to their confidence. And this lesson here today will steer you in that direction as well. So let's get to it. Imposter syndrome. What it is, it's a internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud, isn't it? Uh-oh, they're going to discover me. They're going to figure me out. Doubting your skills, your talents, your accomplishments, your value, your self-worth. It can also be debilitating and very frustrating as a condition. Imposter syndrome is not permanent. Oh, that's so good. That's relief right there. And if you choose to release the beliefs that create and fuel your imposter syndrome, it can be gone super fast. Why that's important to overcome is quite obvious, isn't it? You know the ickiness that you feel. You feel you can't show your true, authentic self. So you don't live a genuine existence. Or if you do, only around a few select people that you can trust being yourself around. You're constantly trying to prove yourself and your worth. You may avoid situations where you will be seen as not good enough. If you can't, do it right, then you don't want to do it at all. That failure is terrifying. It feels so unsafe. It threatens your need for belonging and to be loved. And so that's why that is there, causing all of that havoc within you. And because of it, maintaining peace and being fully present and at ease can be really tricky, can't it? So for awareness sake, let's quickly cover the 5 variations of imposter syndrome. We'll go through them and we're going to talk about how to ditch them as well. So numero uno is the perfectionist. Then you have the naturally gifted, the stubborn individual, the soon-to-be expert, and the Energizer Bunny. Ah, yes. All right. And you can relate to one or a multitude of these, by the way. We'll start with the perfectionist. You fear mistakes will expose you as an imposter, so you don't want to make a single mistake, and you strive for perfection, and your expectations are so high that even if you do 99 things right, that one thing that you did wrong makes you feel, oh, the tightness in your chest, and you might consider it a huge failure, right? And you can become so fixated on the outcome that you aren't enjoying the actual process of creating or skill development anymore. And when you do achieve your goal, instead of feeling joy, you may just feel more relief, And that relief doesn't last long, does it? You just need to prove yourself again and again. It just never ends. And perfectionism may also prevent you from doing things and putting yourself out there and showing your true authentic self because of a fear of judgment, because you're like, I'm not perfect. I can't let anyone see that. So the goal, learn to be cool with making mistakes. Let go of outcomes. Stop caring what others think, right? Easy to say, harder to do, you say? The way to do it is by releasing deep-seated baggage related to perfectionism. And I'm going to discuss that coming up here near the end of the video. So next up on a variation of imposter syndrome is the naturally gifted. For you, success came easy in school, right? You're at the top of the class. You didn't really have to study hard, perhaps. Challenges didn't feel like challenges, did they? You seemingly always had the answer, or you figured it out fast. And then at some point you grow up and things start taking a turn. Challenges become actual challenges. And that's no fun. You don't feel prepared anymore. You're like, what's wrong with me? Success wasn't or isn't second nature anymore. And that may result in you either not doing what poses to be any kind of challenge whatsoever, or you find yourself working harder because of it, and you don't feel as smart, and you doubt yourself, and you feel like you're not good enough, you're no longer capable. That's not a good feeling. And so the goal, give yourself grace for not being a genius. Get your ego to chill out. Accept your new you, embrace these challenges, be willing to be seen as not a genius. And the way to overcome that, releasing that deep-seated baggage that's related to your struggles with struggling. We'll talk about that coming up here in a bit. But first, let's talk about the stubborn individual. Yeah, those who refuse to ask for help. You feel it makes you look weak, incapable, like you lack skills. If you feel if you need help, then you are an imposter right there. Nothing is a success unless you achieve it yourself, and you have that wounded ego. And so the goal there is to recognize that voice is your ego and check it. Right? Understand that asking for help is actually really wise and powerful and efficient, and saves you time and utilizes the resources available all around you instead of just within you. And know that you're not supposed to know it all or do it all by yourself. You know, and to do that really, really fast, release that deep-seated baggage that's feeding your ego and your need for glory. And we'll talk about that here momentarily. Let's chat about the soon-to-be expert. You prefer to spend time researching and gathering as much info as possible before starting any task. The more knowledge you have, the better. And the truth is, there may not be enough knowledge out there to feel 100% prepared. And so you fear that you never know enough. And there's always one more course, one more class that you should take, one more workshop that you should enroll in, one more book to read, one more podcast to listen to. And this holds you back. Time just keeps ticking and wasting and wasting and wasting, and you don't take the action that you need to. And you may even shy away from sharing your opinion because you fear being asked questions. The thought of not knowing the answers, that can trigger your imposter syndrome. You're either an expert or you're an imposter. Okay? And the goal, you want to move away from hoarding knowledge. Of course, it's good to get some, but at some point, you can't let it stop you from actually moving forward and taking action. So you want to move toward learning on the go. It's a necessity. You read every book on how to swim. That will not make you a swimmer, will it? And so at some point, you do got to get in the water. All right. And how do you get over that? Releasing deep-seated baggage. That's right. We'll chat about that in a moment. Let's finish off with the Energizer Bunny who keeps going and going and going, and you push yourself to work harder than everyone around you to prove you are not an imposter, and you feel you need to prove your worthiness. And this is burning the candle at both ends, and it leads to burnout, and it's a major risk to your mental and emotional health and your physical body eventually, and just all around, right? And so the goal is to, of course, shift away from that external validation to measure your self-worth, create boundaries between work and private time, knowing that balance is bliss. And how do you do that? Releasing baggage related to self-worth. Yeah. And so you may identify with more than just one of those forms of imposter syndrome. Myself, I've been the perfectionist. I've been the stubborn individual. I've been the Energizer Bunny where I would just burn myself out. And I'm happy to say that that's gone because I released that baggage, those fears, those doubts, those limiting beliefs that were so deep-seated in my unconscious mind that I had no idea that it was feeding my imposter syndrome. So to recap, imposter syndrome is that internalized fear being exposed as not good enough, incapable, unworthy. There are 5 variations of imposter syndrome. All of them are doing you far more harm than they are good, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and it's costing you a lot, isn't it? And the third thing to note is it does not have to be that way. And so just take a moment here and picture your life without your imposter syndrome. It might be hard for some people to do here, going, I have no idea what that looks like. Okay, well, just try, just try. And for some people, maybe you can easily just lean into that and go to, oh yeah, I I want that life. And so how would having that internalized fear gone for good benefit you? How would it improve your home life? How would it improve your professional life, your career, the business that you're building, whatever it may be? With the imposter syndrome gone, how does that benefit your health overall and specifically? And as you visualize that, it's so delightful, isn't it? It's so, so delightful. And I hate to tear you away from it, but we do have to bring you back down to reality here because you have imposter syndrome. And that's okay. And I know that you've probably heard that deep healing takes time and it's messy and it's hard work. But what if the opposite were true? What if it could be easy and effortless and take like no time at all? It is true. And I know that because I experienced it myself, and it's what actually inspired me to become a coach so that way I could help others do it so easily as well. And I actually have a training on releasing baggage, right? I've mentioned it throughout this whole video. Releasing baggage, release the baggage. I have a training on releasing baggage for good. So that way your past experiences, your traumas, they don't have to hold you back anymore. So just message me and ask for the releasing baggage training. All right. And I will happily share that with you as another freebie. Releasing your baggage will help you ditch your self doubt so that way you can confidently be your authentic self and just realize and embrace your true worth. You know, that's something I struggled with for a long time. And then all of a sudden, you can make it go the other way and just know that you are good enough. You are capable. You are deserving of everything that you want to create for yourself. But if your unconscious mind has any doubts about that, then the path to success will always be more of a struggle than it needs to be. And so make it easy for yourself. And you can ask me for that releasing baggage training. That's free. I trust that you got value out of this lesson here today. I'm Troy, your confidence coach. Have an impactful day and be well.